So first of all, David, what are we going to see of your production?
You're going to see a production which is incredibly faithful to the score. Incredibly faithful to the score, faithful to a degree that I've not seen. I've seen Les Troyens live in the theatre twice, and I've watched, in preparation for this production, about 3 available DVDs. And there's a fidelity to Berlioz's score that we're trying to observe, which I think has never been done before.
When you do something that's this mammoth, actually I presume when you do it, whenever you do any particular opera, do you get together right at the beginning and have discussions?
Not really, not in this case. We didn't. I mean, what I am involved in, I mean, I'll see how the model is developing, you know, but before the production is built. I know David very well, and we've worked together before, and I knew instinctively that he was the person to do this piece. There was no question in my mind from day one. I think David has a tremendous sensibility with things classical, and the way also he directs women is just incredible. And here you have 2 of the greatest female characters in the world. I mean, in the world of opera, Cassandra and Didon, and it's a fantastic opportunity. And I knew that absolutely I had to do this with David.
And obviously, David, the major thing is the horse. It is. Let's face it, it's the horse in the room. It is a huge horse.
When I considered who would be the best designer to do this piece, I knew it had to be a designer that had an epic vision and that was incredibly brave about doing things on a large scale. And I went for Ez Devlin, who had previously collaborated with me on Salome. But as some of you may know this, has a parallel career to her opera career as a designer of rock concerts, like for Lady Gaga, Kanye West, Take That. She's also designing the closing ceremony of the Olympics simultaneously to this. So she thinks big. She thinks on a big scale. And the epic sweep of this production just needed a designer that would push the envelope, that would think on a scale that other designers may be frightened to think about. And certainly we have some epic moments up our sleeve for you.
The horse is something to get right in this piece. I mean, it sounds obvious, but it's really tricky to do well, and to, you know, in a relatively large theatre like ours, for the thing to make an impression. I mean, in a way, it's like, you know, kind of the elements that we expect in Wagner's Ring, that certain elements we're looking for. The dragon, you know, those kinds of things. The beginning of Act 3 of Siegfried, this tempest, and Wotan caught up in all this. You know, those kind of things you just have to have. The piece is often performed in 2 parts. One part on one night and the other part on another night. Often it's done like that. We've chosen to put the 2 parts together because for many, many reasons. I think the contrast of the 2 and similarities of the 2 parts is very important. And it's an event. We wanted to create an event from this evening for this opera house. The important thing for an opera house grows only if you challenge the forces, the orchestra, the chorus, the soloists, the technical people, the backstage people. The more you challenge them, the more this house will grow. So it was imperative for me. There was never any question that we would, you know, of course we would do it in one go. And
of course we're honouring the tradition of the house, which has been, Covent Garden has been very kind to this piece historically, from Kubelik and Davis to utterly essential productions proving that the work works in one evening.
I'm very, very happy to be following in the footsteps of Raphael Kubelik and Colin Davis in this piece, but it has been 30 years since it's been performed here. There was a visiting production, I think, in the 90s from Scottish Opera, but the Royal Opera House has not done this piece in 30 years. So, you know, so it's about time.
And David McVicar, have you set what era have you set it in, or is it in a kind of nebulous?
Oh God, this inevitable question.
Sorry.
When you're dealing with a text which is based upon ancient myth, you have to make decisions about how to best articulate the story. We have no idea what the ancient Trojans were. We sort of really, apart from the vase paintings, don't really know what the ancient Greeks were. The Berlioz's music, especially the theme of the Trojan March, which recurs throughout the entire score, always within a context that, for me, makes the playing of the Trojan March a vainglorious event. It always has a context, like what is the human cost of the great mission of Aeneas and his Trojan troops to found the city in Italy. It just made me think about Berlioz's own time, and it made me think about the wars in the middle of the 19th century that led to the rise of Napoleon III and the fall of Napoleon III. So that's our base. That's our base period. We expand from that period. We do other things when we get to Carthage, because we have to articulate the Dido's utopian experiment in different ways. And we've actually been, in the way we stage the Carthaginian acts, incredibly true to Virgil when he describes Carthage as a great beehive with the queen bee at the center and this industry that's going around as they're building the city. When you see the production visually, we've been incredibly true to that idea. And when you do actually follow his stage directions, the music makes complete sense. I mean, we're following it down to when the lightning strikes the tree, when the tree bursts into flame, when the spirits grab the flaming branches of the tree. We're being that exact, and it just sort of works.
There are other dances that are not so spectacular.
Yeah, some of the music is dull. It honestly is. I mean, the music for
I tried to say it was entertaining. And contrast.
Act 3 is the danger zone in this opera. The big public act for Dido, because it can so easily turn into Margaret Thatcher. I'm sorry. It can so easily turn in. I'm sorry if you're a fan. I'm sorry, but it can so easily turn into quite a dull public scene. And the dual thing we've done is to. It's not hard with Ave Maria to humanize Dido and to emphasize the love that the people have for Dido. That's in the bag because we have a wonderful singer doing it, and actually everyone does love her. Yes. The other thing is you have the laborers and the farm workers and the builders to just. We've been cheeky with it. We've injected some humor into that scene. And it really lifts it. It's joyful. It's funny. It's happy. It just gets rid of the pomposity of it.
So, what's been the most difficult part of this production? You've got 2 more weeks before it opens.
The most difficult thing is having the courage to go on. You know, when you're rehearsing this thing. I mean, now I'm with the orchestra, and tomorrow for the first time I put the singers and the orchestra together. Well, that's not quite true. I've been slipping them in my early rehearsals also, but there's always another scene to rehearse this. It goes on and on and on. But to not be thrown by the length, because actually when you see it on the evening, it doesn't feel long. It has a sweep and a direction. I mean, of course, some of that's up to me and David's production, but the piece naturally has a motor, a very healthy motor based on storytelling, drama, music, and the laws of theatre, which are very, very, very sound.
Yes. The hardest day for me was the day we started Act 5. That I didn't sleep the night before when we started Act 5, because we literally had 3 days. 3 days to actually tackle.
And Act 5 is the shortest, but it's the fullest in the sense that so much important music and so many important scenes and confrontations and key moments of the opera are in that act, you know. I'm always aware, and I will become more and more aware as we put the stage and the orchestra together, is actual pacing and the timing. That what you do with any show, whether it's a West End show or if it's an opera, to try to get it so that it does something for the audience, that it interests the audience. You know, keeps the audience. And of course, when you're dealing with operas of great length, there is the danger of losing the public, and there's not this sort of how do you say, almost religious respect for the Trojans as there is for Wagner's music. I'm talking about from the general public, because I don't think a lot of the general public actually knows the piece. A lot of people know Wagner, but Berlioz they don't know very well. So I would hope that's a positive and make them curious, because it's not a piece to be. It is awe-inspiring because it's gigantic and it's great, but it's a great piece of theatre. It's there to be enjoyed, to learn from it.
The other thing I just want to say briefly is no one else sounds like Berlioz. His voice is so utterly unique, and a lot of people may find it challenging to listen to the music, very surprising to listen to the music. I mean, Wagner's voice is obviously unique, but lots of other composers sound a bit like Wagner. No one sounds like Berlioz. No one followed Berlioz. No one thought about orchestrating the way that Berlioz does, or no one was prepared to follow his quite retro way of quoting classical form. I mean, I hope you like it. You can't. I said in an interview in The Independent this week, I said you cannot learn to love the score of the Trojans without also loving the man, without loving Hector Berlioz. And honestly, once you do get into this score, it becomes not only an obsession but a mission. A mission to transmit it to you want to share it. You want to share the joy of Hector Berlioz and knowing that he never saw this piece. He died tragically, never having seen this piece before and complete. He wrote this really tragic thing in his diary about Cassandra. He wrote, "Oh, my virgin priestess, I will never hear you sing." Oh. And it's heartrending. And I'm getting quite emotional now. But honestly, but it's an honor for me to do this piece. It's an honor to work with this man's music, and I hope we're doing a good job.
Well, I think you obviously are doing a good job, because it's a sellout. So I hope you've all got your tickets. Thank you very much again to Antonio Pappano, David McVicar, and thank you for coming. Thank you.